Welcome back to nFinOutdoors, and thank you for coming to watch my unboxing, review, and setup of my brand new Summit Viper SD Ultra tree stand. I've been checking out these tree stands for a while, and I finally pulled the trigger on one. Let's get it out of the box, get it set up, and take a closer look at it. Well, I have been a fan of API tree stands for a long time, also Hawk tree stands. However, I've had the opportunity to hunt from a Summit Viper before, and I think that they're really quality made tree stands, so I decided to pull the trigger on one. So let's talk a little bit about this stand before we get it out of the box. Number one, this stand is not the cheapest of tree stands. This thing runs anywhere from about $430 to $480, depending upon where you're buying it. Do me a favor, if you're gonna buy one of these tree stands and you're looking into it, check the comments and description of this video because I'll put an Amazon link there. You can go to Amazon and buy this tree stand. That's where I got this one from. That link doesn't save you any money. It doesn't cost you any more money either, but it does give me a little bit of a commission and it helps me keep making content like this. So if you're in the market for this tree stand, do me a favor, use that link and buy it through Amazon. I'd appreciate it. The reason why I bought this stand, number one, I was looking for a climber. Number two, I like a climber that is a pretty big size climber. So this thing has a 22-inch wide seat frame. So it's a pretty big climber. It's rated for a 300-pound capacity person. I'm not 300 pounds, but I do like buying the larger tree stands because it gives me a little bit more room when I'm up in the tree stands. This thing only weighs 20 pounds. That was the big selling point for me because I do have to hike my stands into the woods a little bit when I use them. So 20 pounds is a really lightweight tree stand. Now let's get this thing out of the box. Let's open it up and let's get it set up and see what it takes. Now, truth be told, I have never opened one of these up and set it up. This is the first time I'm doing it. So we're gonna go through it together and we're gonna see what it takes to get this thing out of the box, get it set up and put it on the tree. Now let's pull out what I see here first. Now I got some cardboard stuffing. This looks like the footrest for it. I also have here, the frame is coming out. All right, there's everything. Both the frame pieces are together. And that was the seat that came tumbling to the ground. Oh, here's all the pads and everything else for this thing. So let me get this out of the way. And let's get this stand back up here on the back of the truck. One of the things that I really like about a lot of the newer climbing tree stands is that there's no more hinge points on these things anymore. I don't know how old you are, how long you've been hunting, but 30 something years ago when I bought my first climbing tree stand, they had the tree stand would fold flat. So it was all hinge points in here, and man, they were so loud and squeaky. So these stands are all welded frame construction. So there is nothing in here that's going to be moving or squeaking. And they also say that this stand has some sort of sound dampening technology in the metal. I don't know what that is. I don't know how well it works, but I'm just going by what they say. Now let's get this thing cut apart here, and at least they protect it really well. They keep this nice powder coated metal from getting all scratched up on this thing. And here are the two pieces. You can see they do nest together. I'm guessing that when the stand is being transported, they'll nest together like this. Come on. They'll nest together like this when you're moving it. There we go. Okay. All right, there's our two pieces. This one is obviously the footrest. It's got the metal pieces on here. It is a nice, very light. You can see how I could pick this thing up and move it around. It is really lightweight, powder coated finish, and everything, like I explained, is all welded together. Here is the seat base. Again, amazingly lightweight for a climbing tree stand. has all the warnings and everything on it, telling you to be careful. No, be careful. And let's get the rest of the stuff out of the box. Here's the cables. Now, some tree stands, the ones I've been used to, were held together with chains, or held the tree with chains. Summit uses these cables. And like I said, I've never owned a Summit tree stand before, but I have hunted out of them. And the cable system works pretty well. Now, we have all this other stuff here. Let's get this out of the box. Here is the footrest. Oh, we also have here the seat. Now, one thing about these seats, they are a very lightweight, durable seats, but if you leave your tree stand in the woods like I tend to do, the squirrels and the mice kind of chew them up. These seats are easy to replace. You can find replacement seats on Amazon. In fact, I just bought one for one of my other tree stands. It is almost exactly the same construction as this, and they are easily to replace. They're not that expensive. I'll put a link to the replacement stand or replacement seat as well. So if you are interested in buying a new seat for your tree stand, you'll have that link there in the comments and description of this video. And let's open up this bag of stuff that it comes with and see what's in here. All right. Here is going to be, so this stand comes with a full body harness and a lifeline. I'm not going to use this full body harness. I have a muddy crossover harness that I've been wearing for years. If you want to see a review I did on that one, check the comments and description. Oh, no, check in the upper right-hand corner of this video. I'll put a link to it. In the comments and description, I will also put a link to that muddy crossover harness that I wear. I have found that the full body harnesses that usually come with the tree stands, they're good harnesses. You can wear them, but I like one that has, it's got some pockets in it. It has a clip for my rangefinder. So there's options that I like on some of the aftermarket safety harnesses. So I will probably not ever use this one, but the lifeline I will definitely keep and use the lifeline. So we'll set that off to the side. All right, in here, this is some padding. So that's going to go on the footrest and also the arms on the side. These are nice looking and durable. They're zip-on, they're not Velcro, so they're going to be quiet. So I'm going to take a minute and put these pads in place and speed this video up so you can watch me do it, I guess. I've got all my pads in place. That only took me, I don't know, about a minute or so. You're going to see it in fast motion probably, but pads are in place. They're durable, they're comfortable, they're going to be quiet, which I like. So far, so good. Now let's check out what we got for the rest of this thing here. I do see in this bag, there are some straps. Let's see. There's a bunch of straps and a few other things here. Let's take a look at what we got. Worst case scenario, read the instructions and go about that, which I'm not used to doing, but hey, I'm a guy, we're gonna do it anyways. We're gonna look in here. Hey, look at that, Summit sticker. I like that it comes with a sticker. And I'll put that on my toolbox somewhere. So let's see all the parts here. All right, so the first thing I see here is backpack straps. And that's what these guys are here. Let's see how they look. Oh, wow, kind of like scrunchy things, kind of spongy. Not sure how much I'm gonna like these. I do have other backpack straps that that I could put on this stand. So we're gonna hook it up and see how it feels. Here is the base. Now it's telling me to take these straps and come through here, loop them through there like that. Okay. And then there are other ends here. These are the bottom of the straps here. It's telling me to loop them on through here. Makes a nice little padded backpack straps to carry this thing with. Very important having a nice comfortable way to carry the stand in the woods, especially if you're going for quite a big hike like I tend to do. All right, I'm not going to adjust these now, but you get the picture. Backpack straps on there. The next step, it's going to tell me to install some end caps. This little bag right here is the end caps. All right, these end caps are for the end of the tubing here to seal it all up. I'm just going to stick them there right now. You need a mallet to put them in place or some sort of hammer. That's where they go. They clip on there and they just bang right in place. So I'm going to leave them off just for now. I will put them in when I get home and I have access to a hammer. And now it's going to tell me to install the cable system. Now this cable system is kind of nice here. You put this cable in and let's see, it sort of sticks in place. So it just kind of fits in there, slides into where you want to adjust it to, and then pull it back, and there's a little tang in there that will lock that in place, and you can adjust it very easily with that little tang and just by moving it and locking it back into place. So this fits in here nice and durably, so you can see that it fits in there when you go to put your tree stand on. And that is one of the things that makes this stand nice. You know that it's in place and you know it's not going to move. So I'm going to get this other side on here quick. Get this one here. Okay. I've got both of those in place. And I'll tell you what, for a stand that I've never messed with before, it goes together pretty easy. So far, so good. I'm very happy with it. Let's put the rest on, or the footrest on. Okay, I've got this footrest mounted. Now, it took a little bit of work, and you are going to need a screw gun. Fortunately, I had a screw gun with me in my truck. There are little brackets, and you're going to put these brackets against the footrest, and then they have these nice little self-tapping screws that it comes with, and just screw that footrest into the bracket. Now, it fits in the little groove that's there, so it's going to stay in place. And once you do that, you're going to see two thicker grommets and one thinner grommet. And those grommets are going to go into the footrest itself. So the big grommets go in the footrest, poking in, and then you can run the bolt through them. And then the smaller grommet goes from the outside into that metal bracket that you screwed in, and the bolt goes through and the nut goes on. And what that does is that keeps it from having metal rubbing on metal, which is going to keep this stand nice and quiet when you move this footrest. A nice thing about the footrest, it folds to stow out of the way when you're carrying it. There is also these little bumper grommets that go on the bottom of the stand itself. Now, I am not going to attach those yet because I want to make sure I don't need to move this footrest from where I mounted it. Now that I look at it, I may have mounted a little bit too far forward. I'm not positive yet, but I won't know until I actually get in the tree stand. So these little grommets are going to screw onto the bottom right here, and they're going to keep it from making any noise. So you have no metal on metal contact. You have the bumper that gets in the way there. So it makes it nice and quiet. I also attached the foot peg supports onto here. Now these I'm going to need to adjust when I get in the stand. Fortunately, they went on real easy. It's a thin bolt and a wing nut. That wing nut loosens up and you can slide these up and down wherever you need them. That works more comfortable for you. But that's what's going to keep your feet in place when you lift this stand up as you're inchworming your way up the tree. There's a couple other things that this tree stand has with it. One, it's got a strap, and I love these straps because I use them when we nest the tree stand together. You can wrap that strap around, cinch it tight, and it stays together. So when you have it on your back, it doesn't clank and rattle. And I also use that strap because I can stick my backpack down inside this thing while I'm carrying it. And that way it will hold my backpack while I'm carrying everything into the woods. And one of the most important things on a tree stand, it has this tether to tether your bottom and your top pieces together. Now, this tether is very simple. It just wraps around the bottom piece here, and it pulls tight, and it is elastic. And then it will clip around the top, and you just run it around the top and clip it back on itself again. If I can get that clipped on there. Clip it back on itself again. And that thing is going to keep your top and bottom pieces hooked together. Most stands will have a piece of rope or a piece of 5/50 cord or something. You can do different things, but I'm going to tell you this from experience. You want these bugs out here today. I'm going to tell you this from experience. You definitely want your top and bottom pieces hooked together. If for some reason something happens, you move and kick this stand the wrong way and the bottom drops out, you do not want the bottom falling all the way down to the base of the tree. These ropes are great because if for some reason it falls, you can just reach down and pull it back up again. I have had it happen to me in the past. And trust me, you are going to be thankful that you have this tether on there to tie the two pieces together. It gets in the way a little bit sometimes when you're inchworming up the tree, but if something happens and that bottom piece falls out, you definitely need the safety of having them tied together. We have everything put together. Now this whole thing, if I'd have done this from start to finish without making this video, I could probably get this whole thing put together in about 15 minutes. So it did not take that long. It was very easy to do. There's not a whole lot of pieces involved, as you can see. But now all we've got to do, get this thing mounted to the tree, get it set up, and experiment with it. So let's go put it on one of these trees and see how it works. So I hiked about 25 miles back into the woods and found a perfect tree to hang the stand on. In actuality, I only took about 10 feet and decided to hang it on this tree. But the backpack straps were surprisingly comfortable, and this stand is very light. Like I said, it only weighs 20 pounds. This is the lightest tree stand I've ever owned. Now, I took this stand and I put it on a tree, and it only took me a couple minutes, if that, to get these stands or the cables wrapped around the tree and adjusted properly. I like how quiet it is, first of all. The cables are coated with a rubber, so they are very quiet. You can set this stand up without a lot of clanking and no metallic sounds banging together. One thing to keep in mind when you're setting your stand up, most trees will be bigger at the bottom and they'll get smaller as you go up. So I choose to usually set my stand so both the base and the top piece are angled up just a little bit. So that way as you climb, it will end up leveling itself out once you get up the tree. You don't want to climb up the tree and realize that it's too far forward or too far backwards. You want this stand to be nice and level and flat. This stand, when you stand in it, creates a, I don't know if it's leverage that it uses or what the actual term is, but you want to keep your weight to the outside of the stand. As you can see, when I push the stand, it comes down, the cable tightens up, and it digs in the tree in the back here. And that's what's going to keep you attached to the tree when you're climbing and when you're sitting in it. So keeping your weight outboard on the stand is important. I also hooked the seat on when I got here. I forgot to put it on before when I was assembling it, but the straps, the buckles are nice, coated with rubber. They fit inside of each other. They're very quiet. And the buckles themselves are how you adjust the height of the seat. So you can bring this seat down a little bit more. You can bring it up a little bit higher depending upon what is comfortable for you. So I've got the seat on the stand. I got it ready to go. I've got the base hooked up. I have the little little shoe holders in there. Now there is also a rubber, a bungee cord that goes back here, and it's supposed to hold your heels in place while you're climbing. I did not put that on. I don't like to use those personally. If you like them, great, put it on there. I usually don't put it on. So now the only thing left to do, the other thing is I have the top and bottom clipped together with that strap. That's very important, especially on a slick tree like this. The next stand is just get up on this stand and see how it goes. So when I get into my stand, what I like to do is I usually will keep it a little bit lower, but climb on the stand, get up into this thing. And again, I sit on the outboard side of it, put my feet up underneath here, and I lift up with my feet first, put my weight back down on the bottom piece, and then stand up and pull the top piece up to me. Then I can sit down on the top piece, put my feet up under here, lift the bottom up, and you just inchworm your way up the tree just like that. I am not wearing a safety harness, so I'm not going to go any higher than this. I just wanted to show you. I'm going to come back down, and you just do the opposite. You just move the bottom piece first, put weight on it, slide the top piece down. Move the bottom piece, put weight on it, slide the top piece down. So when you get up to the top of the tree and you decide where you want to hunt, all you do is unhook your seat, wrap this around the tree. It has a nice bungee corded soft thing on it there. Turn around and sit down in the stand. I can tell now from the stand already that I am going to want to move my seat up a little bit and make it higher. I have the footrest in the correct position so I can put those bumpers on there. The footrest is fine, but this stand feels very comfortable. Now, I am a bow hunter and a crossbow hunter, so I don't have any sort of rail on here, but when I shoot my crossbow, I can lean on there. And for archery hunting, I would usually put the base a little bit lower than this, but I can stand then and I can lean out over that rail and draw my bow and do whatever shooting I need to do. I got to tell you, I'm really happy with this stand, and I was saying that I better be happy because this is the most expensive stand I've ever owned. Again, it's around $430 on Amazon. I think they're running a sale right now, so remember, check the comments and the description of this video. There'll be a link there. You can click on it and go right and buy this stand at Amazon. But it is now, we are in mid-July here in Connecticut. I've got 2 weeks left until I am ready to get out in the woods. I'm sorry, 2 months left until I'm ready to get out in the woods and do some hunting. So I got a little bit of time to wait. I got a little bit of time to practice and get used to this stand. Remember, please, when you're in your tree stand, use a safety harness. I know people tend to feel comfortable in their stands, and I do it too occasionally, but safety harness can save your life. That is the #1 killer of archery hunters, is tree stand falls. So use your safety harness. Pay attention to your stand when you're putting it together. Make sure everything on it looks good. Every year I check my stands before I put them in the woods and make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. No pieces are broken. No straps are frayed or rotted out or anything. And I think I am ready to get this thing out in the woods and do some hunting. So thank you very much for coming along on this video. I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Again, check out those Amazon links if you're looking to buy this stand. Thanks for coming along again. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something and enjoy this stand as much as I'm going to enjoy it. So until the next video, I wish you nothing but tight lines and short blood trails. See you on the next one.